old school cap. Eddie got opinions and a live stream chat. Used to walk the halls with the burned CD stack. Now he hits go live and the room fades black. Comment wars flare in the scrolling bar. He's breaking down takes on who we are. Then a thought hits quick like a locker slam. What if I just play the songs that raised this man? Donnie, spin that track. Eddie's going back. 96 posters on a bedroom wall.
What's up, everybody?
In a one-car garage. Now it's
how's everybody doing today?
Donnie, spin that track. Tail on the floor, laid back. From the marches to the throwback jams. Same voice, same hands, just a different plan. Camera light on, but the mood turns soft. He says, we'll argue later, I'm clocking out, boss. Pulls up a playlist from a dusty brain drawer. First drum hit, and he's 16 once more. Friday night dances, cheap cologne in the air. That one slow song, she twisted his hair.
How's everybody doing today?
I remember this too, and the whole world shrinks to a gym in 02. Donnie, spin that track. Eddie's going back. Baggy jeans, mixtape in his mom's old car. Big dreams drawn on a notebook page. Like the world wasn't quite so far. Donnie, spin that track.
Hey.
On the offbeat clap from long threads about a broken state. Chords and a hallway tape. He's still that kid, just a better mic. Still trying to say what's wrong, what's right. Some nights debate, some nights rewind.
Doesn't always work, does it?
He's speaking his mind. Donnie, spin that track. Eddie's going back.
Right on, guys. Right on. How's everybody doing today? How's your Monday? How was your Easter? Hope all is well. We're going to kick it off. This is from the other day, but this is another James O'Keefe about California and the mail-in ballot.
Now we're joined in studio by Jonathan Cho,
so
also a member of the Citizen Justice League. He released his report a few days ago where he shows the petitioner fraudster pushing him hard to get him to forge a voter signature and sign some ballots. Let's watch this tape. This is 7A 101. Go.
You registered to vote?
No. He wanted us to sign these initiatives using other people's names and home addresses.
My name's John. Don't you put that name.
Which is identity fraud, another felony.
Is this right, brother?
When I showed hesitation, listen to what he had to say.
Is it conflicting with your morals, is it?
Did you hear that?
Is it conflicting with your morals, is it?
Since we do have morals, instead of signing, our team immediately notified authorities, including Governor Gavin Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta.
They do not have that authority.
They responded by saying this would be investigated.
These people are just continuing the cycle of harm and suffering on these people so they can manipulate them for political gain.
Well, great work. And join in the studio. Just tell the audience about what you witnessed and what you exposed.
Well, first of all, it's a privilege to be part of this brand new Citizen Justice League. And, you know, I'm still having to kind of reassess what I just saw. I'm still analyzing the, human suffering on Skid Row, first of all. But then to see these ballot petitioners, gathering signatures, targeting some of the most vulnerable people on the streets. I think that's probably one of the most sinister things that I've seen. But, as for this investigation, it's ongoing. I couldn't believe what I saw with my own eyes. You saw in the video I was approached, very nonchalantly. And these signature gatherers expected me to commit identity fraud and sign someone else's name. And of course, we didn't. And, what we saw was essentially a constellation of other fraudsters on the streets. This wasn't just one block on Skid Row. Skid Row's many blocks. And this has been happening for years.
You even went to visit the voters whose names were forged, right?
Oh, yeah.
And one of them, a father, says, quote, "It's crazy because what can you really do?" Let's play this tape and I'll get your reaction.
Several miles away, Sean Chires Cabral is in total disbelief.
You didn't give anyone permission. No, not at all.
And wants to know how his information ended up in the wrong hands.
It's crazy because, what can you really do, right?
In total, we managed to make contact with 7 people, but there are still dozens of other victims whose names and addresses are being used for alleged fraud.
Nice music, by the way. I love music. I'm a DJ, so I pay very close attention to what the music is. So
You're a DJ?
and then, I mean, I guess I ask you, what was it like talking to these people who have not been there in California? How extensive is it?
Well, first of all, we know Skid Row is in downtown Los Angeles. Some of these names and addresses were in San Bernardino County, about a 2-hour drive away. And it was just, heartbreaking, at the same time demoralizing to let these people know that their names and addresses were being used. But I thought what was so telling was that so many of these residents, after living in California for so long, seeing the fraud, seeing the government waste and
California
abuse,
that they're being used,
feel as though there's nothing that can be done. Even though we showed them the evidence, even though we showed them that they were clearly being victimized, they wanted to know, where could they actually go? Who is going to advocate for them? And that's the piece. I didn't have an answer at the time as well.
They're victims, and the homeless
100%.
seem to be victims too. And journalism is all about heroes and villains, or people being taken advantage of. And it seems like that's very powerful because these citizens are telling you. I mean, they could. What if they wanted to vote on the petition? Their vote's being forged.
Yeah,
civil rights issue.
And that's what they were also concerned about. They said that, hey, what's going to happen when I, vote in November? Am I going to be able to vote? And I'm like,
not.
I don't know. So they're like, I guess we'll just
What's
have
up,
to wait
cable guy?
and see.
Do you think that arrests are
bud?
coming
Sorry, I
after
just
this
saw it.
story?
James, it's
That's a
been
tough
more
question.
than 2 weeks now since we've launched this multi-part investigation with numerous talented, independent, journalists and agencies now. And we still don't have any sign of any type of arrest coming, prosecutions. And, I think, Representative Mason, in some ways, earlier on your show, laid it out best when she said it's all performative and really posturing when, lawmakers like Governor Newsom and, AG Bonta say, hey, we're going to investigate. Will they really investigate? Where will this go?
Has the Secretary of State reached out to you yet?
No.
LADA reached out to you?
No.
The FBI reached out to you?
No.
DOJ?
Nope. I was expecting maybe a representative from, Mayor Karen Bass's office. This is her city. Would at the very least acknowledge what's going on and give us some context
Karen
and
Bass
perspective.
won't
But
acknowledge
nothing.
shit.
I mean, yeah. I have to be careful what I say because I do believe that there are arrests coming, and I hope. I mean, maybe it's going to be me, but at least someone's going to get arrested. I'll get arrested, right? Well, I fulfilled my promise. Speaking of which, I want to get to the last question here about what happened to you in Vegas, but this is the criminal summons that was just given to me. And we do have an address here. Tomorrow it's at 9:30 a.m. We're going to post this. Don't worry. Send out an email to everybody. 9:30 a.m. I'm supposed to be in court in Miami for domestic violence stalking.
Miami.
One of the guys that we published the video on is bringing me to court in Miami. It's a criminal issue.
Domestic violence. You guys don't live
and it's
together.
at the Lawson E. Thomas Courthouse. That's at 175. This is a public proceeding,
How is
ladies and
that?
gentlemen. You can go. It's at write this down. 175, write this down, Kim Higby. 175 Northwest 1st Avenue in Miami. Courtroom 23A. I'm going to say that.
Forward. I want to hear more about the California stuff.
So, developing story here. Are arrests coming? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I believe arrests are going to come. But John, were you just arrested in Las Vegas?
Yes.
For simply filming?
Over the weekend.
This is why we
He was
call it
arrested in
Justice
Las
League.
Vegas
Cam,
for
you're
filming?
next. Get ready to do
man.
you got to stretch because when they put you in handcuffs, it's tough on your shoulders. So you got to do yoga. You got to do, you get downward doggy or whatever they call it. Get ready because you got to put your hands behind
What do
your
you guys
back.
think about
and it's
Cam
uncomfortable.
Higby?
You urinate yourself because you're sitting in the prison forever.
The zip
What do you guys think about Cam Higby and like Nick Sorter and people like this? I used to do that stuff, what they were doing. And way before it was everybody else was doing it. And like when I did it, it was pretty bad, And I'm seeing these people do it now, and it just, they're just not. I don't think they're in it like we were back then. I think a lot of these people are just in it to get the fame. And I'll be honest, when I was doing it, when we did it to promote America, but we also did it to promote fame. And like some of the guys I did it with back then still do it. You know, they do stuff that they do just for clicks, right? And I'm kind of getting sick and tired of doing stuff just for clicks. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm almost 50. I just want to do stuff the real way now. I want to show the truth. I don't want to do any of this clickbait junk, you know?
Guys are even worse.
Maybe that's why not a lot of people watch me anymore.
By the way, I prefer handcuffs, by the way.
I've been shackled. They put the shackles on my legs when I was 25. People don't even remember that. It's ages ago. But you and you're 45?
Yeah, somewhere around there,
You've been doing this a long time.
Hey, Asian don't raisin, first of all. I like to always...
don't raisin.
But yeah, I've been in corporate media for 20 some odd years, and I made the switch to independent.
Back in the day, in like the 70s and 80s and 90s, at least the corporation could put resources behind you.
Yeah.
And
from people intentionally, even though you had the...
Well, Asians don't raisin.
Yeah, you know...
I don't think they're talking any more about what we are interested in. They're just kind of chit-chatting back and forth. And well, enough of that stuff. Let's get to what happened yesterday on Easter and today. Excuse me. So this was this morning. President Trump just said if Iran doesn't cry uncle, they will have no power plants, no bridges, no anything. He's serious. Oh wait, we got the video. Why am I reading it?
One, we killed Soleimani. Without Soleimani, if they had Soleimani, it would be a whole different thing. Maybe. Would still be winning, but it would have been harder. Because we are obliterating that country.
This was yesterday,
I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. If it were up to me, I'd take the oil, I'd keep the oil, and would make plenty of money. And I'd also take care of the people of Iran, much better than they've been taken care of. It's been horrible. They've killed 45,000 people as of a month and a half ago. 45,000
45,000 people. 45,000 people they've murdered so far, protesters who are anti the regime that's in there. People are sticking up for Iran right now. All right, so see what President Trump says on the rescued airman.
How is the airman doing? Well, how is the airman that was rescued doing?
He's doing really well. They're both doing well. It was two. And we held off the one because if they would have known we had him, so we held off the one. They are both recovering very well. They were both injured, and they're doing well.
Well, I'm glad they're both doing well, but I hear there's some different stuff going on too. We'll get to it. I got a lot. There's going to be a lot of this stuff today with the background music from Easter. So, holy crap, President Trump just mic dropped a reporter at the White House. Let's see what he did. What did he do?
45-day ceasefire. Do you like that?
How is it taking care of the Iranian people if you're bombing?
Yeah, who you with?
PBS.
Well, that's a radical
What's up,
group of lunatics that you're with. Let me just tell you, very fair question.
24 hours.
The Iranian people, when they don't hear bombs go off, they're upset. They want to hear bombs because they want to be free. And the only reason they're not out protesting, you know that, is because they were informed that if they protest, like the wrestler and his friends, if they protest, they will be shot immediately. And that's an edict, that's in writing. If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will be immediately shot. They don't have guns. You know, we sent some guns, but the group that was supposed to give, which I said would happen to my people, I said it, I called it exactly. We sent guns, a lot of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them because they said, what a beautiful gun, I think I'll keep it. So I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they're going to pay a big price for that.
I wonder who those people were. Yeah, Gross says they got 24 hours left. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to start just destroying Iran. And, you know, I feel for the people over there that are not part of the regime and stuff, but you know, unfortunately, collateral damage is a real thing, folks. And collateral damage we have to take in sometimes because, well, look at it. They've already killed 45,000 protesters out there. Right? And if we just let them, if we go to war and just say, okay, we're done, and leave those people in place, what they're just going to become, we're going to supply more terrorists and get more people to come to the United States and get us. And so, in order to protect American lives, we got to do this, right? Gross says they'd rather live in the dark than live in fear. It's a good point, Gross. Right? And think about it. If would you rather live in power or live with power and all that stuff and have to worry about every night if you're going to get arrested or murdered? Or would you live in the dark and not have to worry about being arrested anymore? Kind of makes a lot of sense, Graw. Good point. So breaking news, this was this morning. Iran rejects the truce proposal and emphasizes permanent end to the conflict, requests a safe passage agreement in the Strait of Hormuz, lifting of sanctions and reparations for reconstruction per IRNA. So I said this a while ago. You know, my stepdad always tells me, he's like, you know why people go to war with the United States? Because after the war, we go back and we fix their country. Look at all the countries that we've gone to war with, destroyed them, and look how they're thriving now. And this just shows you right here. Lifting of sanctions and reparations for reconstruction. So they want us to pay for reconstruction. And I'm not saying Iran did all this just to get fixed, but that's something they want. And I never get that. You're messing with us. You're trying to threaten us and hurt us. But then, so we respond and we handle you like we do. And then we're supposed to pay and fix all the stuff for the conflict that you started? How does that work? Huh? Hey, Donnie's. Hold on, Donnie's here. Hi, Donnie's. He had all the people loving on him at Costco today, didn't you? Costco and... What, Donnie's? What, handsome? Let's see, Grog just said something. Trump will make NATO pay the repairs. I hope that's true, but you know, we got to leave. We got to get out of NATO. We're doing all the muscle and all the hard lifting for NATO, yet nobody's kicking in, or at least they're not kicking in their full part. NATO needs to start kicking in some more. Okay, so it says Iran just respond. What are you doing? I just gave you a treat. I gave you your good treat too. Come on. Iran just responded to the U.S. ceasefire proposal and it rejected the 45-day temporary. It says, here's what Tehran is asking for. A permanent end to the war, not just in Iran, but in Lebanon and Gaza too, with guarantees it won't restart. Recognition of Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz with the right to collect tolls from passing ships. Okay, we know that's not going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. Full lifting of all economic sanctions. That might be somewhere in there. No, actually, I don't, because he's not going to lift all. Oh, well, sanctions, maybe. The right to enrich uranium under the NPT acknowledged in writing, that's not going to happen. We already know right now that's not going to happen. Reparations for economic damages caused by war. We're probably going to end up paying that. Somebody's going to probably end up paying that. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen anytime soon. We got a whole bunch more Trump videos, I think, coming up. President Trump videos. So, according to this, it says 1/3 of Americans believe President Trump has a clear plan to handle the situation in Iran, per CNN. I mean, President Trump's a businessman. Of course he's got a clear plan. You know, this was very well thought out. I mean, look how long it took him to actually do this. I think he's definitely got a clear plan in and out, with a whole bunch of side plans of just in case this or that goes wrong. All right, let's hear what this reporter says of President Trump here.
It's a big country. They can't fight back. They have no capability. missiles left. They have some drones left, but essentially they have no capability. They had a lucky shot with an airplane, but we got them back out. The rescue was incredible. And it wasn't of one person, it was of two-person. There are those that say that's never happened before, because usually when you're shot down in strong enemy and deep enemy territory, you can't go after them because you'll end up losing 250 people to get one. So it's a terrible thing. But we had to make a decision. Do we do it or do we not? And we did. And, you know, we have some helicopters with a lot of bullet holes in them right now. Probably you know that. Now, I'm very honored to have rebuilt our military. We rebuilt our military in my first term. I'm using it in our second term. And we are the most respected country anywhere in the world with the greatest military anywhere in the world. Thank you. So,
I don't know about the respect part of it, but everybody's in fear of us. Let's put it that way. All right, Graw said, plus he has good advisors this go around. He does, but, you know, we know that President Trump isn't always right there on the, you know, he takes it with a grain of salt. He's not always agreeing with his advisors either. And actually, I think he talks about that a little bit in some of the videos we have coming up. I'm surprised she doesn't have purple hair anymore. But this freak, Megan Rapinoe, she says, for former women's soccer player Megan Rapinoe appears to suggest there is no scientific evidence that men are better than women in sports. Let's hear this idiot talk.
Is Transgender Day of Visibility. So we just want to wish our trans family the happiest of days. We love you. We see you. We know how trying these times are for you right now, and just wanted to take a moment to say that. And unfortunately, we have to say that all in the same breath as a really horrible rule that came out from the International Olympic Committee. They've announced a new policy that they're calling, I can't even believe they're calling it this, because it has nothing to do with protecting women. I feel like two people who played at the very highest level for every competition that you possibly could don't agree with this and never felt like this was an issue at all. The protection of the female bracketed women's category. They're limiting people eligible to compete in the women's category to those who qualify as what they're calling quote unquote biological females. This will require a once in a lifetime screening of all
I wouldn't want
women's
one of her
athletes
sandwiches,
for the SRY gene. And if an athlete tests positive for this gene, they will have to compete in the male category. We already know that biology, as much as we want it to be just nice and clean and tight and perfectly in one category or another, it's not. We know that. So now what we're doing is subjecting everybody, all women and all people who are identifying as women, to this really invasive testing that only to me just says like, oh, so we're just trying to whittle it down to a certain type of woman. Is that what we're doing? Like, that's really the whole game here. Like, there's been, you know, they sort of like lost the battle on gay marriage and lost the battle on all these things. So it's just like, we're going to have this whole campaign for all these years to just hate trans people, which is such a...
All right, I can't enough. But I'm sorry. You know, yes, there are some certain women out there that can beat men in many things, right? But there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of them at all. It's just they're physically built different. God created man to be the protector and the woman to be, you know, taking care of the babies. That's the way God created us. Anyways, it's a mental illness, this cable guy. Probably, you know, it definitely is. Transgenderism is definitely a mental illness. I mean, who in their right mind would sit there and say, you know what? I like other dudes, but instead of just being gay, I'm going to cut my dick off and I'm going to go and get a vagina inserted in me, and so that way I can date men. And men won't know. Well, maybe that's why they do it, because they don't want men to know, you know, so they'll date them. That's a possibility, right? But you know what happens when men find out that you're actually a transgendered person? And you've had sex with them? They're going to beat the living shit out of you. They're going to beat the living shit out of you. That's all I got to say. All right, so this is from my muse. You know, I like this guy a lot. It says algorithmically curated dating apps have engineered a generational mismatch in romantic expectations that mirror the worst dynamics of winner-take-all markets and positional goods inflation. Traditional courtship was bounded by geography, social circles, time. So basically, what he's saying is this: dating apps are ruining the lives of many people. Because what they're saying is women only want to, or men only, wait, what is this? Which way is the thing going? Men will date anybody, but women will only date the top man. That's what he's trying to say here. You know, I'm way down here in this category. Look, nobody's ever wants to look at me, right? And it's true. Have you guys ever gone to a dating site and looked at this stuff? Hold on, let me see if I'm supposed to be able to add more cameras. Let me see if I can add a second camera. Hold on. Because I can probably do my cell phone. And, like, I have Facebook dating on my phone. I haven't used it in a long time because all it is just fake people. Add new layer. Slideshow website. Screen share, media share. Slideshow, dynamic grid, text, animate. How can I add a second camera? I know I paid. We have the plan to where we can add a second camera. Light mode. Full screen mode. Screen share, speaker. Oh, another speaker. Here we go. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, it's not add speaker. Oh, wait. Anyways. But has anybody here recently gone through one of these dating apps? You know, I've gone through it, right? You know, and you'll look and you're like, okay, this is a fake. Because women all use these filters now. They use these things that totally change the way that they look, right? And so you're going through, okay, this woman's fake. This woman's, you know, or too hot, too fake, too fake. And then you see 30 women that have filters on that all look amazing. And then you see that one person that looks like a normal human being and you're like, they're not good enough. Because you've just seen 30 freaking smoking hot women and they're not hot. Because when you meet them in person, you realize it was a filter that makes them look 20% lighter. You know, there's no pimples, no blemishes, nothing on them. Their teeth are perfectly straight. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the filter's gone, right? And all these women just think they're God's gift to men. The ugliest people in the world. You know, before, you know, I don't know if it still happens as much, but I remember in the old days, you know, the nerdy guys who never got a woman, who would treat women right, the women wouldn't talk to them. But then after they have 3 or 4 kids, you know, and they're turning 40 and they no longer have their looks, they still look beautiful, but they've lost a lot of it and they can't get those super hot guys anymore. What are they doing now? They're going for the nerdy, dorky guys that they ignored in high school because they weren't good enough. And those nerdy guys are gladly accepting them, right? You know, but it's just funny how that works. You know, they went out and had their fun dating these rich, hot, or not even rich, but just good-looking men. Oh, I got to date the sports guy. Got to date the sports guy. And then he cheats on them or does something to destroy their marriage. Or she cheats on him to destroy their marriage. And now all of a sudden their only options are, well, you know, I got 4 kids. I guess I better date this dorky guy. When you probably should have dated the dorky guy in the first place. You've been married 26 years, no dating apps in your day, and I'm glad. Yeah. I don't even pay attention to them anymore. It's not worth it. I think my marriage ruined me anyways. All right, so breaking news. President Trump just posted a video of the Mall of America is full of Somali people. So I've been to the Mall of America, and when I was a kid, I went there in the 90s because I have family in Minnesota, and it was awesome, you know. We went on a roller coaster ride in the middle of a mall. We went there 2 days in a row, and we spent the whole 7 days just walking, and we didn't even complete half of the mall. It was just amazing. They have a big, huge theater up on the 5th floor or whatever it is. So look at it now. Who would want to go to the Mall of America anymore? Look at this. This does not look like a place I'd want to go to. It does not at all look like a place I'd want to go to. Man, you know what? I wonder if... Hold on, let's see if I have video of me when I went to the Mall of America. Eddie Block Films. If I do, it would be on this show. It'll be on this channel that I don't have access to. Let's see, Mall of America. Is there anything on it? Cruising Minneapolis, Hennepin County Court, White Castle. No. Minnesota. Let me see. I thought I streamed part of it. Hennepin County, live from Cut Foods, Minnesota, Minneapolis. Hennepin County Courthouse, White Castle protesters. Nope, I guess I don't have video of that. I'll have to find it somewhere now. Now it's gonna make me want to have to find it. All right, here we go. We're back to this. Has anybody ever been to the Mall of America before, other than myself? It is huge. It used to be amazing with all these stores, and now there's hardly anything there anymore. They still got the Lego store there though. So just in, explosions are reportedly erupting in western Tehran near Mehrabad Airport, and Allied strikes continue. Time is running low. Holy shit! Look how quick that landed. Wow. You know, I hope we just hurry up and just destroy Iran. I'd rather have them destroyed than have to worry about how they're going to come back and get vengeance against us. Do we need another 9/11 in this country? I don't think so. We definitely don't need that. All right, so CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper ordered a B-2 bomber strike on underground IRGC headquarters while they rescued the airmen in Iran. Let's watch this.
Harris, good morning. High-ranking U.S. sources telling Fox News that while that rescue was ongoing over the weekend, that CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper directed a strike against an IRGC underground headquarters outside of the Iranian capital of Tehran. Fox News has learned that B-2 bombers were used during this strike, along with massive ordnance penetrators, bunker buster bombs, to target this facility, the same weapons used in Operation Midnight Hammer. And I am told by these high-ranking U.S. sources that the headquarters of the IRGC was obliterated in that strike. This is significant because it speaks to the intelligence and military excellence of the U.S. military. As this rescue was ongoing, they were hammering the Iranian regime just outside the capital of Tehran with B-2 bombers overhead, U.S. Special Forces on the ground, more than 100 of them, rescuing that airman and bringing the fight to the IRGC just outside of the Iranian capital. Harris?
So this is like a typical President Trump thing, right? You know, he starts a little fire over here so that way he can do what he's really wants to do over here. So they knew where they needed to rescue this the pilot and the co-pilot, or I'm not exactly sure their proper names and terminology. I'm sorry. And so what they did is they decided to bomb their headquarters. Let's bomb their headquarters. And while we're bombing their headquarters, we're gonna go in and sneak underneath and just get our people back. Let's see. Cable Guy says, I've been listening to the Towelhead scream "Death to America" since I was 12. Destroy that whole ideology. I agree. Cable Guy. We had this whole discussion on this last night about Islam and, you know, the fact that Islam wants to kill every single Christian, right? And if you're not Islam, then they're going to kill you. If you do not accept Islam, it's just disgusting. What is Donnie doing? Donnie's making a lot of noise outside. I wonder what's going on there. So President just from Mike dropped a reporter. Let's see.
President, how would it not be a war crime to strike Iran's bridges and power plants?
Because they killed 45,000 people in the last month. More than that. I think it could be as much as 60. They kill protesters. They're animals. And we have to stop them, and we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They want a nuclear weapon. They've been trying for a long time. I stopped them with the Obama horrible Iran nuclear deal. I stopped them in a lot of different ways. We got rid of Soleimani, the evil genius. He was an evil genius. We got rid of him. And then we stopped him with the B-2 bombers.
President, how would it...
We stopped them with the B-2 bombers. Yeah, I definitely would be. You know what? Just take them all out, because then we don't have to worry about anybody trying to come back and do something else to us like another 9/11. All right, so from false signals being pushed throughout Iran up to the daring rescue of a downed airman trapped behind enemy lines, here's how the CIA's deception campaign made it possible for the United States to rescue a stranded airman. So, what is this? Is this like... They're not even showing anything. What the heck is this? Okay, I guess we gotta click on the photo. CIA deception. So this is where Tehran is. This is where the jet was down. Then you click on here. So it says Thursday night, officer ejected with pilot when the jet was hit. The pilot recovered quickly and removed from danger. The officer forced to hide and evade capture for 36 hours. He climbed 7,000-foot ridge and activated his emergency beacon. It says CIA began its deception campaign before the airman was found. They spread word inside Iran that U.S. forces had already located the missing colonel and were moving him on the ground. Confused Iranian searchers and allowed CIA, so that shouldn't be the end, allowed CIA to use specialized techniques to locate the officer. Specialized techniques. Is there any more pictures? Nope, I guess not. You know, like the good old saying is, leave no man behind. And thank goodness we did not do that. I'm proud of what happened. So, no Sharia law. Governor Ron DeSantis signs what he calls the strongest legislation in Florida history to combat extremist influence.
We'll do millions for public safety, millions for education, but never 1 red cent for jihad.
So what are they doing? Hey, Bubba.
So the legislation we'll sign today is the strongest action Florida has ever taken to protect its people from this influence, and obviously it spans finance, it spans political, it spans culture, and then of course it can be overt acts like we've seen in Old Dominion and other places around the country. I'm proud to be able to sign the bill today. We'll do millions for public.
Okay, we just watched a whole entire video of him saying basically nothing. What is he doing to stop jihad? How is he taking away their money? He's not explaining anything to us. Donnie, please. I know you're not excited. He was outside barking at there's a bear or something out there. That's how he normally comes in after he's done barking at the bears in the neighborhood. I'm like, Dad, I scared off the bears. Dad, I scared them off. Can you give me another treat? That's what he wants. But what are they doing? They're not telling us what they're doing. It's just insane. All right, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon is launching an investigation into New York City's Mayor Donnie for his new radical equity plan. Let's see what his new radical equity plan is.
And while today's true cost of living measure confirms that the affordability crisis touches every corner of our city, we know that these effects are not applied evenly.
You notice there's not a single white person there?
Often it is black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest. This preliminary racial equity plan is the first step in developing a whole of government approach to tackling that reality. It is a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination, and it places the work of 45 city agencies within a singular framework. And while today's true...
What do you guys think about this? So, discrimination of black and brown people. Black and brown, you know, cultures of different places act differently. They do different stuff, right? So we as Americans have our typical culture. You know, you work hard, you get a job, you get married, you take care of your kids, you buy a house, and you get out. And of course, we have our trailer park trash, right? We got trailer park trash, you know. We got bad people, we got murderers, we got serial killers. We have all the whole list of everything wrong. But for the most part, we have a certain culture, you know. We don't like to be rude to each other. Well, a lot of us are religious, right? You know, and I'm not. And what I say by rude is, you know, we we act civilly, right? Well, then you get people from other countries where they don't act like that. They don't act civilly. They don't respect other people's privacy, you know? And so they come here and it just doesn't work out great for them because that's not how the United States works. So then you get these crazy liberal white people or liberal women or liberal whatever on the left side that say, "Oh, but you know, well, they're not smart enough to get a good job, and so their colleges they don't have college educations and blah blah blah." Well, they can go to work as a freaking plumber, right? I remember people all the time used to ask me, "Eddie, why are you a plumber, man?" And I was like, "I get paid $100 an hour. Would you go out there and you run a snake down somebody's drain for $100 an hour?" And then when I started my plumbing company, you know, it was $100 just to run a snake down somebody's sink. For $120. I get there, I work about 10-15 minutes, and I clear their drain. And then these people get mad. Well, you know, "Oh, I paid you." Well, you know what? You didn't know how to fix it. I had to drive out here. You know, I had to pay for gas. I had to pay for, you know, insurance. I had to pay for business licenses, business insurance. You know, it's just because these people don't want to put in the work, and because the Democrats have trained them that they can get free everything as long as they vote Democrat. How's it our problem? Why do we need to feel bad about that? That's not racism. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the Democrats that are giving everybody free shit. How long has the saying been out there that you can take a man, you can feed a man a burger and feed him for the day, or you can teach him how to fish and he can eat for life? That's not a brand new saying. That's been forever. But these people, "Oh, I can get this for free, right? I don't have to work. I can just sit on welfare my whole entire life, have more kids." That's what the Democrats have taught them to do. So if they want to blame anybody, blame the freaking Democrats who were forced slaves in the first place. Drives me nuts. All right, Democrats in Massachusetts place cops with social workers, or replace cops with social workers. You know, they said, "Well, you know, this person was mentally insane, and so you should have a social worker out there to understand it." Well, one of these social workers was just stabbed while responding to a call after spending 45 minutes talking with the suspect, and the suspect just ended up stabbing him. So, what do you think's better? Should we have a cop out there who knows how to protect themselves, who has a little bit of body armor, you know, with their plate carriers? Or some social worker that's like, "It's okay, baby, I understand." Well, look what happened. Look what happened. All right, here we go. So this is more on the F-15E wreck. It says the F-15E wreck location and strike patterns were basically kill most of the wild stories going around. What actually happened? Both of the crew members were almost certainly picked up near Isfahan. Nobody is hiking dozens of miles through the hostile terrain after ejecting. That part was always a fantasy. The geometry matters more than the rumors. The WSO ejects first, then the pilot follows shortly afterwards, and the crash site lines up with that. There's no gap here that suggests some long-distance escape or separate operation. And those strike patterns near the WSO location, that looks like isolation. Clear the area, secure the landing zone, and get them out. Standard recovery logic. So I don't know who he's trying to say is spreading those rumors. He's trying to say President Trump is spreading a rumor? I'm not sure. But let's keep looking. We got more stuff on it. We got a lot more stuff on it. Cable Guys has been listening to the... Oh. Never mind. That's not new, is it? That's not new. Okay. Justin, President Trump announces the rescue of the airmen behind it. So let's hear. We've got a whole bunch of videos with this now.
And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent, but we got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex.
We got a whole bunch of these videos coming up, so we're just going to keep going through it. What's he saying here?
American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic.
I think that was started playing over. Okay, this one's a minute 49.
Be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close.
I agree with that statement. So let's hope a lot of these aren't repeating much information, because there was just so many videos on it today. It was hard to pick and choose which ones to play. Here's another one.
We're bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location, because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic
But there was, like you said, planes were shot, helicopters were shot. We should hear more of it here.
The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there, thousands. General Raisin Kane, who's a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force. America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind.
Actually. I think we just played the same exact clip over again. All right, let's hear. Hopefully this is something new.
Couldn't have lived without him. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle, and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. The sand this was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting.
Central casting. Here's about somebody's leaking information from our military.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do, because when they did that, all of a sudden,
does somebody know who leaked it?
The entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot.
Yeah.
So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award.
Yeah, they had a reward out for him, right? Which, I mean, we probably would have done too if we were in the same situation. All right, more President Trump.
Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft downed by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky. but we got lucky too
Eventually.
because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we said, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive, and we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. I'm so impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for a plane. But they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to do. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand.
I wonder if they're ever going to release
So
the video.
I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me and many others that worked. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically.
Wouldn't you
Jared
guys like to
Kushner.
see the video? I would.
But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing.
Of course they're amazing. They're American patriots, right? Americans do things the best that they can. And we don't do it unless it's right. All right, so now we got Pete Hegseth talking about what happened a little bit.
Transponder. His first message was simple, and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good.
Yes, he is.
Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos, and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under fire, and they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission.
I love it. I love it. We got to do what we got to do, folks. You know, we've been such our country's been such pussified lately because of the Democrats and Joe Biden, what they did in the last 4 years before President Trump came back. We got to show people we're still America and we're still here.
Continues today, by the way. Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around. You can ask Soleimani, you can ask Maduro, you can ask Khomeini.
Think about this. If Joe Biden, or actually I should say now, let's say either Hillary and or oh my gosh, Cackle. I can't even think of her name right now. We're in. Let's say they didn't start the war. Let's just say a pilot was shot down in Iran. Do you really think that Kamala Harris or especially Hillary Clinton would go and get him out? I mean, Hillary Clinton, she left people a long time ago. She let she let military personnel down. You think she would have done this? She would have done what President Trump is doing? No, she wouldn't. Kamala Harris wouldn't have done it either. Joe Biden wouldn't have done it. All right, a little break from that part of stuff. It's official. NASA's Artemis 2 has broken the distance record for the furthest humans. Let's see, people are typing right. 248,655 miles. Let's see what they're doing here.
Yeah, from the cabin of integrity here as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth. We do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back to everything that we hold dear.
He lost 250 men because of it? Wow.
Most importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation in the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
So that's their view of the moon.
Thank you, Integrity, and congratulations to you and the rest of the Artemis 2 team.
So do you think that they're looking for bases on the moon from other countries like China? I mean, there's a conspiracy theory going around that China has bases on the other side of the moon, so I hope they're looking for that stuff. Was everybody on board with the operation? So let's hear this.
I don't care who it is.
Please. Mark Meredith, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
How would I know that? Go ahead.
America's watching. No.
Good job.
Can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend?
Not everybody was on board.
Somebody else within?
No, there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important.
You hope it's true?
They weren't. It would have had a little difficulty, but...
You hope that there's Chinese bases on the other side of the moon?
No.
Or are you hoping that they're looking for him?
Military people that said you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. You know, this is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. You know, I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So, yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately? For the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, but I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds. And
I'll tell you the number, but I'll keep it a secret. All right, big blast tore through Iran's Shahid Mazar naval shipyard today. Good, look at that. Everything's smoking. You know, it's going on too long. He's got less than 24 hours now to agree to a peace or to agree to something. Otherwise, we're taking him out. And I hope we just end up taking him out. Because if we honestly, I think if we get a deal with them, we're going to get screwed in this deal in the long run.
Because we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody... We have goggles. I've tried them. They're unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them during daylight. I mean... Day like today, we have a beautiful day. You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's enhanced. So we have the best in the world. So it's much.
Wouldn't you like to have the ability to see some of the technology that the military has now? Oh my gosh, I would just love the opportunity to be able to just because I love stuff like that. You know, I love stuff like that. Let's see. Cable Guy says, I think it's all CGI, and I don't think they went the first time, to be honest. You just lose information like that. Hey, you know, I don't know. It's like I seen the stuff on the flag, and you know, there's no wind, so it's not. You know, I can see it both ways. Let me put it that way. I can definitely see it both ways. Like my buddy Sneaky Pete doesn't think they ever went to the moon either.
Middle East will be gone, and then they're coming for Europe. And I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in NATO. Very. I think that NATO, I think it's a mark on NATO that will never disappear. Never disappear in my mind. You know, they're coming to see me on Wednesday. They're going to say, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they all of a sudden want to send things, you know. But they said it loud and clear at the beginning. When I spoke to UK of all, I would have said they would have been the first because they're the oldest. And I say, yeah, I'd love to have a little help. He said, no, sir, we'd rather wait till you win. I said, I don't need help after we win. They have 2 old broken aircraft carriers, barely work. I said, I guess we can use them. Who the hell knows? I called the general. He didn't even want them. He said, we don't really need them. We got the SS Abraham Lincoln, sir. We don't need them. You know, we have, in terms of technology, we had one day 101 missiles going at 2,700 miles an hour, aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. 101 missiles. Out of 101 missiles, 101 missiles were shot down.
I love it. America. Love it. I think I just played the same clip. Oh no, here's a different one. Okay, good. Hard to keep track of all the different clips that I have sometimes.
President, you called yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the arraignment.
Oh look, there's my friend Kara. That's Kara Casanova.
Crazy bastards.
True.
What is your response to critics who say that
I don't care about critics.
What is your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything.
President, you called the...
Yes, that's Kara Casanova. If you guys know her, she's the White House correspondent for Lindell TV. Me and her talked recently about... Is this her? No. After the FBI gave me my stuff back, and she's interested in seeing some of the stuff that I got back. Why can't I find it? Why can't I find it? Let me go here. Let me see. Here it is. Let me see. Let me make sure there's nothing on here that I can't show you. Yeah, it just says, so we're going to talk about it soon. So, cool girl. Copy link. I don't want to copy, I want to cut link. So you never know. I might be there. Some of my January 6th footage that has now been given back to me might be on the news pretty soon again. All right, let's see. This is Iranian exile just came out in full support of Marco Rubio getting General Soleimani's relatives deported. Yeah, if you hadn't heard, Soleimani had I don't know if it was a sister or something, but a sister and a niece, I think, and they kicked him out of the United States. They actually caught him. So let's watch this.
Right decision, Martha. I was actually pointing out my own home in Brooklyn, in New York. I miss my home because I have seen the killers in front of my house. And these 2 people who are related to Qasem Soleimani, who clearly part of like IRGC camp, because they are not being punished. Let me be clear. I'm talking directly to Americans.
His niece
These
is kind of
2
good
nieces
looking.
and grandnieces of Qasem Soleimani, they're not being punished because of Qasem Soleimani. They're being punished simply because they asked for asylum, but they went back to Iran multiple times, and they came back in America promoting IRGC, calling United States of America Great Satan. Yeah. Wow, that's my home. I'm not safe. And women in my country, ordinary women, Martha.
So wait a minute. They call the United States of America the Great Satan, but yet they want us to protect them and let them stay here. Put your tinfoil hat on the dark side, reveal their aliens, and release the technology they have had for years. Like I said, tinfoil hat thinking. Well, that's good you're thinking that, Cable Guy, because you know what? I was going to do it yesterday, but we decided to have a panel. So tonight, when I finish the news portion of the show, I'm going to shut it down for about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I got to feed the dogs and do some other stuff around here. And then we're going to watch the new Joe Rogan episode where he talks to, once again, Bob Lazar. So as soon as I finish the news here, within half an hour afterwards, we're going to watch the whole entire episode of Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar that just took place like less than a week ago, maybe a week ago. So I can't wait. I haven't seen it yet.
My country, the security forces threw acid on their face. The security forces beaten up Mahsa Amini, killed her simply for showing a
There's
bit
some
of
beautiful
her
young
hair.
ladies.
Not even her skin, just a little bit of her hair. Women get lashes for showing their hair. From the age of 7, women won't be able to go to school because of Qasem Soleimani and IRGC. So that's why, thank you, Secretary Marco Rubio. But I have to make it clear, there should be one red line.
I wonder what the red line is going to be. Didn't show that part. All right, Buzzier Parish. Let's see. Cool, neither have I. Okay, well then, cool. You can watch it with us. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's like a 3-year-long episode, so it's going to be a late night. Okay, so Bossier Parish, Louisiana. A man from Bossier City will be castrated as part of his sentence for aggravated crimes against nature. The district attorney's office says on April 6th, Zachary Dwayne Doolittle, who's 40, entered a guilty plea for the charge of aggravated crimes against nature. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Well, if he's going to prison, why are you going to castrate him? I would say only castrate him if he gets released. I don't know. What do you guys think? Why waste our money castrating this dude? Okay, so this is interesting. A female inmate files a lawsuit in Maine after a male trans inmate allegedly assaulted her and threatened to rape and murder her. Convicted murderer Andrew Balser, a man pretending to be a woman, is being housed at a women's prison in Maine. He reportedly trapped a female inmate in a bathroom, forcibly kissed her, and then threatened to rape and kill her. She also refused to bunk with Andrew, resulting in her getting transferred to a segregated area. How is this allowed to happen? Because liberals. It's all liberals, right? You know, think about it. If you're going to be sentenced to life in prison and you're a man, would you want to live with men or women? Of course, people are taking advantage of this. I'd do the same thing. I don't want to live in a men's prison where I got to get worried about being raped all the time. If I had the opportunity to lie and say, you know, if I'm going to jail for life, and I could say, hey, you know what, I identify as a woman, heck yeah, I would do that. Right? Because, I mean, the women aren't going to exactly kick my ass and, you know, and try and rape me like the men would do.
In Iran. I'll tell you one thing it did produce, Congressman, recently is the visas have been pulled away from General Qasem Soleimani's niece and grandniece here in the United States, living in Los Angeles. These two women living a very interesting lifestyle. I think we have some images that we can show.
They're definitely gorgeous
active,
women,
by the way, on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Glamorous, very, very fabulous lifestyle that they were living, posing with helicopters and airplanes and luxury brands. All the
You know what, though? A lot of these people fake this stuff, though. And that's the problem. They'll fake this shit, right? And younger people on the internet will be like, oh, my God, look at this person. They're driving Ferraris. They're sitting in their G-Wagon or their Hummer, and they're on helicopters, and they're on planes. Well, you can rent a fake helicopter, you know, by the hour to take some pictures in there and make it look like you're really there.
By the way, posting.
And so then this makes people, you know, oh, we got to keep up with the Joneses, and then you know they lose everything because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. I used to have a thrift store for my wife, and we would buy storage units, and you'd go and you find all this expensive, you know, like figurines and statues, and oh, this person had a brand new BMW, a brand new Mercedes, but yet all of a sudden their storage lockers getting taken because they can't afford to pay their bills. It's because they're keeping up with the Joneses when you shouldn't. I've done the same thing too.
American support for Iran. No longer. They have now been put into the process of deportation.
Yeah, well, they're dressed like a bunch of hookers, and they wouldn't be able to do that in their own dadgum country, that's for sure.
There's our
you have to
dadgum.
ask yourself, what the heck was the Biden and the Obama administration doing? Obama's sending them pallets of cash. Biden's letting everybody in over our border. We've been told maybe we could have 500 members of the Taliban
I guess they do kind of look like
gotten
hookers,
into
huh?
our country at some time during the last 4 years under the Biden administration. You know, we ought to start, we need a cleaning, and this needs to start right now. And this is a perfect example of what we need to be doing, because I guarantee you the money they're spending is probably somehow is shipped over there to an NGO in one of those countries from American taxpayers or the United Nations. And they come back over here and they trash this great country, and they all need to go back Let her dress like that in Iran and see how far she'll get hung off of a building is what they'll do.
Probably,
There's so many
right?
fascinating angles to this particular story. One that we've talked about on this program a lot about.
As a man, though, I can't say that I do appreciate it.
Denaturalizing people that have visas or naturalized citizenship who are preaching against this country, enemies of this country. Why do they remain in the country? And then I don't think it should go without repeating what you just said.
You just said, why do they remain in the country? Well, if they go back to their country, they can't do this shit. They'll get stoned, they'll get whatever, right? Women don't have the rights in their country. And I just find it so interesting that you'll leave a country that you have no rights in and then bash the country that gives you all the rights that you wanted.
They can't live like that in Iran. They can't dress like that. They can't spend like that. And yet they do so while cursing America. I mean, this story is layered in so many different ways. More layers than they're wearing.
Yeah, tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more on it. And I think this lady, if you want to call her that, was related to Soleimani, one of the most evil SOBs out there that killed probably hundreds of Americans, was really the father of the roadside bomb. I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of how they ended up identifying Soleimani, though. He thumbed his nose at Trump, and they ended up identifying by his ring finger because that's all that was left of him. He had this awful ring on his finger that was pretty identifiable, and that's how they ended up identifying. Trump didn't take him out in the middle of an airport in some public area. He took him out in a transport, a line of armored vehicles, and he took him out, and that was about it. And everybody else lived to tell the story, and that's the kind of leader we have.
I want to double check something. Yeah, okay. I don't want to play the same clip over again. You know, I used to have a system, and I haven't been doing my system lately. I got to start doing my system again. But I had a long day today. My mobility scooter hasn't been working right. I've been trying to get a new one, but I can only get one every 7 years, I think it is, or 5 years or something like that. All I know is I can get it in 2027 again. And so I've been buying parts and fixing it on my own, but then my insurance through the VA, they're like, well, how do we know you fixed the right part? And they wouldn't pay me, and I got them to finally pay me finally. So they said the best thing is to just take it to a place and have them fix it. And I'm like, okay, I use my scooter every day, especially here on my property. That's why I destroy it so much, because it's not meant for being in the mountains like this, you know, on 4 acres. Which is where I live, and I got to clean, you know, the bears break into our trash and take trash over that way, and I got to get there on my scooter to clean it up, right? They don't understand it. So I had to take it to Ray Fisher's pharmacy in Fresno and paid $325 for batteries that were the low-grade batteries that I could have bought online and gotten the lithium batteries for only $250. But that's the way the government works. I had to go to a place that installed them for me and proved that that's what I needed. So I had to spend $350 when I could have just bought 2 batteries off the internet, had it here to my house to where I was only out without my scooter for like 10, 15 minutes, which honestly, that's all they took to fix it too. So that wasn't bad. But I had to drive an hour each way to go get it fixed. Just a pain in the ass. All right, this is good news about Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell will soon face sexual harassment accusations from his former staffers, according to lawyer and activist Cheyenne Hunt, California. Let's hope that this is really, really true. Let's see what's going on. Because Eric Swalwell needs to be taken out.
The Democratic candidate currently leading in the California governor's race has a known history of being predatory towards women. And while it may be seen as politically expedient to sweep this under the rug, it is the wrong thing to do, and we know it. I worked on the Hill. I know many women who still do. And this message that I received yesterday is not unique. I have received others, and there are many women who have reached out to other political commentators and to reporters with their stories. This particular message follows the same pattern as the other allegations.
Let's be real. Why do you think the Senate voted, was it the Senate or Congress? I forget which one. They voted not to allow all of these allegations to come out, and they keeping them hidden. Why do you think all of the people in Congress and or Senate, whichever it was, voted against allowing the exposure of people who have been paid off to not expose the truth about, you know, the rape or the inappropriate touching or the inappropriate questions, right? Funny how that works. The congressmen and women and senators can get away with that, but
currently circulating. You know Eric Swalwell has slept with many of his interns and makes them all sign NDAs so they don't speak up, right? And when I was 19, he tried hitting on me and sliding into my DMs, and I have so many other friends that have similar experiences with him. Like I said, this message that I received is not an anomaly. It's part of a pattern. Other commentators have come forward, like this one, saying that no less than a dozen people have come forward to them alleging that Swalwell has had inappropriate relationships with young staffers for years. I understand that because the Trump administration is currently trying to weaponize similar allegations against Swalwell, having this conversation or publicly acknowledging it may feel like aligning with Trump, but that is not the truth. It is aligning with women. Politically, if this is a weakness that Trump can exploit, then it's something that we do need to acknowledge. And more important, morally, if we as a party are willing to bury these kinds of allegations, we are no better than those we point the finger at. Lastly, I would not be surprised if we soon see many other folks come forward. Conversations that I have had suggest that creators who have heard these stories and women who have experienced it are currently sitting on the sidelines because they're afraid of retaliation, of not being able to work in this space anymore if they speak up. But I think as more people come forward, we will hear other voices coming in and echoing these allegations. So we need to deal with this and address this now. People have questions about why I decided to make public comments about allegations of sexual harassment against Eric Swalwell before a major news outlet published the story. So let me be as clear and transparent about that as I safely can be. I am personally working with a group of women who want to come forward and share their stories. I am also aware of a much larger group that is also in this process that I am not personally working with. We have secured pro bono legal representation for them, and they are in the process of sharing their information with major outlets while ensuring that their legal and physical safety is protected. That process takes time, but the number of credible women who have come forward since I posted my first video is really shocking, and all of them moving forward together has greatly expedited the timeline of this whole process. I got deeply involved because, like I said in my first video, I had heard these rumors for years, going back to the time when I was working on the Hill. But the first person who approached me with their story was a close personal friend of mine. Then, once I started digging into it and I found that there were a number of other women whose stories matched the same pattern of manipulation and abuse of power, I knew that I couldn't stay silent because these women needed to know that if they came forward, there was a group of people that would have their back. I understand that people want as much information as possible about these women, their stories, their identities, and the proof to back this all up. The problem is that many of these women have remained silent for so long because they believed that they were alone and that if they came forward, it would ruin their careers. And as someone who has worked in politics, I can't disagree with that assessment. It appears that others may have stayed silent because of a belief that non-disclosure agreements required them to keep this secret. While it is true that most NDAs would be unenforceable under these circumstances, most people don't know that. And the idea of challenging a powerful sitting congressman in court is not something that most people want to do. I understand and appreciate that people are engaging with discernment and critical thinking when they see things like this online. However, there are very real limits to what I can share here and why. I am still sharing these details here before this story breaks more widely to help ensure that women know they can come forward and to help this story break as soon as possible, because I am not blind to the fact that this will have an impact on the California governor's race. One more key point, I'm an attorney. I'm well aware of the fact that if I were to get on my platform and share lies about a public figure, I could be subject to a lawsuit for defamation. That being said, Swalwell follows me, and I know that his team is aware of my video and the videos that other creators have made on this topic. To the best of my knowledge, none of us have been served with legal paperwork or sent a cease and desist. They can't, because the truth is an absolute defense. I also work in politics. I'm aware that having this conversation publicly could lead people that I work with to view me as a liability, but I do not believe in holding Republicans to a standard that we are not willing to uphold ourselves. No more predators in power from either party, period.
I agree, especially Eric Swalwell. That dude's a douchebag. And, I mean, he slept with a Chinese spy, and yet he's still in Congress. I mean, how does that even work? The Congress is... my brain's freezing tonight. All right, let's see what Jesse Waters is saying.
Calling Trump crazy helps Trump. It makes him look like he's this madman who's totally unrestrained and unwilling or willing to do anything to win the war. So the Iranians look at that and they go, uh-oh, we better sign something.
That's the American
this guy's really
way.
Willing to do it all. But I didn't think his tweets were any more bombastic than they usually are, and bombing power plants is not a war crime. Bill Clinton destroyed Serbia's entire energy infrastructure. Both Bushes took out Iraq's electricity grid. Rolling Thunder, North Vietnam. Lyndon Johnson took out the power plants. You do it under the laws of warfare, proportionality, dual-use systems. It can be done humanely. Yeah, right. Democrats calling Trump crazy helps Trump.
I agree. Plus, you know, if anybody wants to kill all of you and every one of you, then why should we be nice, all right? We got to protect, like I said earlier, sometimes there's collateral damage, and it's an unfortunate part of war, but it's got to happen to protect the majority of lives.
Like every problem that we have in society right now will be fixed.
So this is Gavin Newsom's wife.
When women come together and partner with our male allies and other allies. But when more women are in the rooms making decisions, changing the status quo and transforming not just our culture, but our society and our economy. I'll give you one example. Look at Silicon Valley. Had more women been early on in those companies or at the tables of power making decisions, I don't think we would have so much.
Anybody that's still watching, do you guys, why do you think that she is still with him? Gavin Newsom cheated on her, did all this stuff. He's donated a ton. He's got the state of California to give a lot of money to her charities, right? But the conspiracy theorist in me wants to say that the only reason she's still with Gavin Newsom is because, number one, he says you got to stay married to me, because in court you cannot get a spouse to testify against another spouse, so that protects him. And number two, she doesn't want to get Hillary Clinton. She doesn't want to get Clinton, right? That's my thoughts on the matter.
Or have allowed for so much sort of bigotry, racism, misogyny, and hate online. I don't think that we would have the anonymity of it. I think that there would have been ooh, that's unkind. That's not okay. You can't make money off of that, about dividing people, misinforming people, belittling people, bullying people.
Oh, you mean like your husband?
I mean, again, think about who's the victims online more often than not. It's women, LGBTQ+, marginalized communities, women of color.
We got to stop having the victim mentality. So Gavin Newsom's wife actually admits that she would censor free speech if women like her were in charge of social media. Okay, that's not what I was looking for, so I maybe didn't listen to it all the way. But I'm not surprised. I mean, remember when Gavin Newsom said anyone who makes jokes about me is can be arrested? Remember that? All right, so court has officially thrown out disgraced leftist Judge Hannah Dugan. You remember Judge Hannah Dugan? ICE were waiting outside to arrest somebody outside of her court. So she went and walked this person out the back door so they could avoid ICE. And so she was arrested on it eventually, and she's no longer a judge. So the disgraced leftist Judge Hannah Dugan's appeal of her felony conviction, where she tried to help an illegal alien escape DHS. So they threw it out. So good, lock up the traitor. So let's listen to it. Let's watch this real quick.
18th, wearing her black robes, appearing to confront several federal agents there to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Milwaukee man and Mexican national charged locally with 3 counts of domestic battery. This video, released by Milwaukee County through an open records request, is part of the evidence in the case against Judge Dugan, who's charged with obstructing a federal investigation, concealing Flores Ruiz, allowing him to leave her courtroom by a different door after sending the agents to speak to the chief judge. Flores Ruiz, dressed in black with his attorney, is seen in several of the videos leaving by that other door. One prosecutors say was used by jurors and not open to the public. As he leaves, though, he is seen in the hallway, followed by another agent. As Flores Ruiz gets into the elevator to leave, the agent slips in as well. According to the criminal complaint against Dugan, that agent followed them down. The agent seen here following out of the building downstairs, and once backup arrived, they tried to arrest Flores Ruiz, who another video shows ran north in front of the courthouse for nearly a block before agents caught up with him and arrested him. Federal agents arrested Dugan herself a week later.
Eduardo Flores Ruiz's domestic violence case is moving through the Milwaukee County Court. He is, however, in federal custody on his immigration arrest.
So yeah, so I'm so glad that that's done over with her. She deserves. Shoot, I hit the wrong button. She deserves to be in jail, and never. She needs. I think she lost her law license. I hope so. Pretty sure, but I know she's no longer a judge. All right, Artemis 2 crew member Victor Glover shares the gospel and the teachings of Jesus Christ from the moon moments before expectedly losing communication signal. Christ said in response to what was the greatest command, it was to love God with all that you are. Oh, Goofy's in here. Newsom's wife sounds like she's the one wearing the pants. Oh, probably. You never know. Let's watch this.
Thank you for that, Jenny. And thank you to all of you for allowing us the immense privilege to be on this journey together. It's quite amazing. And as we go on this journey, thinking about the NASA mission to explore the unknown in air and space, to innovate for the benefit of humanity, and to inspire the world through discovery. And as you've gone along on this journey with us, hopefully we're doing just those things. And as we get close to the nearest point to the moon and farthest point from Earth, as we continue to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos, I would like to remind you of one of the most important mysteries there on Earth, and that's love. Christ said in response to what was the greatest command, that it was to love God with all that you are. And he also, being a great teacher, said the second is equal to it, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And so, as we prepare to go out of radio communication, we're still to feel your love from Earth, and to all of you down there on Earth and around Earth, we love you from the moon.
Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. I'm surprised they're showing it on the
Houston
news.
copies. We'll see you on the other side.
Pretty freaking awesome, right? Pretty awesome. Also, while we're at that, I've got a friend who right now is going through some things. You know, it's a rough day for this person, so just everybody keep that person in your thoughts and prayers, because you know life isn't always fair, and some stuff happens to you, and well, this person needs some prayers. So thank you. All right, why is it always in Walmart? Walmart after 9 p.m. is a different universe as this person. Let's watch this video. Let me turn it down. I think it's going to be loud.
Yo, that stuff going crazy. Yo, that stuff going crazy as fuck. Yo, that stuff going crazy as fuck. That stuff. Oh. Yo, that stuff on demon time, bro.
You know, I watch a lot of these videos. Do you ever wonder why it's always the women doing it? Why is it always the women fighting? Right? Why is it always the women fighting? Goofy, thank you for the squeeze for that person. You know who we're talking about. You're part of our group text, so you know who we're thinking of tonight. So, all right, let's see what this is. So, if it's true, this is horrifying. He should also be added to the freaks and the weirdos currently in Congress. Over a dozen former female employees and interns are preparing to come forward to accuse Eric Swalwell of inappropriate touching. And we just read a story not a minute ago. So, this is why you have your groceries delivered, Goofy. Yeah, I can't get groceries delivered up here. Only things that I can get delivered up here is non-perishable stuff. I still have Walmart, you know. By the way, so for everybody, if you don't have Walmart Plus, it's a good thing to have. And you know, some of you are going to say, yeah, but it's Walmart. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I have it. And there's two reasons. I love watching Paramount Plus. I don't have cable here, so I buy, you know, the different ones I want. And I watch Paramount Plus. Well, it's like $120 a year for Paramount Plus. But if you pay $99, actually it's like $80, I think, or something. Or if you can prove that you're low income, you get it for $49 a year, Walmart Plus. And it's not that hard to show that you're low income. You know, you can basically fake it till you make it. So for $49 a year, you get Paramount plus free shipping on anything you order at Walmart. And I have a Walmart credit card, so when I buy stuff from Walmart, I put it on that credit card and pay it off the next day because you get 5% cash back. Same thing with Amazon. I got an Amazon card that I use when I shop on Amazon. I use my Amazon card because I get 5% cash back. When I go to Costco, I use my Costco credit card because I got 4% cash back on stuff you buy in store, or no, 2% cash back on what you buy in store. And if you buy diesel, you get 4% cash back, or any kind of gas. So, and I thought I was only getting 4% cash back on my Costco card when I was at getting diesel. But no, you get the 4% cash back for buying gas on your card, and then you get the 2% cash back from paying for stuff at Costco. So you're getting 6% cash back. And right now, today, hold on, let me find the picture. Let me see if the picture is on my computer yet. Today, I bought diesel. I had to buy like 21 gallons of diesel today. And yeah, here it is. I'm sorry, 26 gallons of diesel today cost me $176.62. Yes, I had like a quarter. I only had like a quarter of gas left. So for 3/4 of a tank, I paid $176.62 at Costco. So, hey, I saved $12 though because I got that 6% cash back, right? It's just insane how much gas prices are and diesel prices. The other day when I was in LA on my way home, I had to buy some diesel, so I bought just enough to get home. But it was $7.24 a gallon. Today, I think it was like $6 and something a gallon. Okay, so this is the last one we have, and then we're going to go check out if there's anything left over on X. One of America's doomsday planes, the Boeing E-4B Night Watch, was spotted circling above Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska just hours before President Trump's deadline for Iran expires. This is a flying Pentagon, designed to survive nuclear war, EMPs, and keep the government running if everything goes to hell. When the doomsday plane starts doing laps right before your ultimatum deadline, the vibes are not pieces around the corner. The clock is ticking. What all does this doomsday plane have? Let's see. So it's made by Boeing. It has 4 GE CF6 50E2 engines. It's got 52,500 pounds of thrust per engine. Takeoff weight is 800,000 pounds max. Endurance is 12 hours unrefueled. But, it can be, I'm pretty sure this can be refueled in air. It can fly more than 30,000 feet. The cost was $438,076. Passenger to crew up to 111. It was deployed in 1980. So it's operated by the U.S. Air Force. Is a militarized version of the Boeing 747-200 and serves as a mobile command post designed to protect the President, Secretary of Defense, and other national security officials, ensuring the government can continue operating in the event of a war. And it kind of sucks to be vice president in this situation because vice president and the president cannot be in the same area. LC says it can be refueled mid-flight, right? Now, this is a doomsday plane. And I'm going to tell you what right now, this doesn't scare me at all. It doesn't. I'll be honest. When you're disabled like me and you have the pain and all the stuff to go through every single day like me, some days it just seems not worth it. So if I die, I could care less. Stick up for our country. But that's just me. And I'm thinking, bad on my part, I'm not thinking about everybody else. But hey, so this is what it looks like. I wonder what this is. Is that open or is that a cover? I wonder what that is. But yeah, I've sometimes, the only reason you want to stay alive is because I got Donnie and Panda to take care of, and I got to take care of my stepdad. And so if the world just blew up, then sometimes it would be great. Anyways, let's go back and let's see what's been going on let's see if there's any new things going on since we started the show. Any new important stuff. So we've been running for an hour and a half. So let's go back an hour and a half. 1 hour. I haven't seen this stuff yet, so let's go back through. Haven't seen that. Okay, we were right there. That's the last thing we saw. Okay, and that's it. Now we know where we are. Okay, Justin, strikes pummel Iran nearby Tehran's the airport with columns of flames and smoke being spotted around 3 a.m. local time. Fuck around and find out is set to get even worse if they don't cave to President Trump. Look at all that. Make them suffer. Make them pay. You probably won't see the story in legacy media. Say her name, Michaela Plaza, allegedly killed or unalived by Marcus Plaza after a judge denied her a restraining order against him. So this woman had a restraining order against this man. The judge denied it, and then she was unalived. Wow. Anna Paulina Luna says, I'm about to do a conference call to explain to the members on both sides that it is illegal to sexually harass staff and interns. So this is taking part of the Eric Swalwell, the JoJo stuff. Will Congress use their slush fund of taxpayer dollars to pay off Eric Swalwell's accusers? Probably. Probably. Wouldn't be surprised. This historic Palestinian palace in Tehran, a UNESCO World Heritage Site often likened to Versailles, sustained damage in the war. It's unfortunate, but let's see. I love the stained glass. That's pretty cool. I gotta admit, that's some pretty cool stuff. Is that the ceiling? What are we looking at here? The ceiling is all glass, huh? I mean, it's beautiful to look at, but unfortunately, you know, stuff has to happen. So international NGOs are organizing groups of Iranian children to encircle every power plant in the country tomorrow. The NGOs affiliated with the Democrat Party are mobilizing thousands of children to serve as human shields. No, this can't be real. This shit can't be real. But then it's the Democrats, so I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just disgusting. And the NGOs are probably making tons of money and kickbacks off of this shit, or the politicians. Iran just dropped its 10-point response to the U.S. 15 peace plan. Guarantee that Iran will not be attacked again. Well, we can't guarantee that, because if you want to fuck, that means that you can do whatever you want to us and we won't attack you back. No, not going to happen. It says permanent end to the war, not just a ceasefire. Well, if we can make a deal, but not with the first thing. And Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Well, we can't tell Israeli what to do, so that's not going to happen. Lifting of all U.S. sanctions on Iran. I don't think you deserve that yet. Number 5 says end to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. That's something we can work on. In return, Iran would open the Strait of Hormuz, but they're still going to charge a toll. Look, Iran would impose a $2 million toll per ship passing through. Fuck that. That's not going to happen. Iran would split those fees with Oman. Still no. Iran would set clear rules for safe passage through. No. We want to make the rules. Iran would use the collected fees for reconstruction instead of paying reparations. And that's why they go to war with us, folks. My stepdad has always told me, countries go to war with us because they know that we're going to fix them up. So they go to war with us just so we can fix them up. And I have no problem believing that. Okay, I think I saw some of this. Maybe we went. TMZ just received another ransom note for the same sender tied to Nancy. Whoa, they're bringing up Nancy Guthrie again. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
You know, I will share a little bit of news with you. The person who has been incessantly contacting us,
although
saying,
stopped for a while.
Stopped for a while. Yeah. We got another letter today from this person, an email saying, I know where her body is and who the kidnapper is. Give me half a Bitcoin and I'll tell you. And this person has been really persistent, knowing that if it's a scam, it's a federal crime.
Right. But they also made the point that they wanted to make it clear that they have nothing to do with it.
Right.
They've been out of the country, but...
Do you guys trust TMZ? I don't. Okay, which version looks better? Her or her? So I don't like the lips whatsoever. However, the eyes and the different... See this? It's probably photoshopped or something. I don't like this point on her chin either. This has got to be Photoshop. This has got to be AI. She's a decent looking woman. Take away... If you just show from here up, I love her eyes in this picture. Better than I like her eyes in that picture. So, yeah, this is definitely AI because she's wearing the same fucking shirt. Definitely AI. They invited the UPS driver to... Oh, wait, you know what? I did see some of this stuff. So I guess I went down too far. Let's go back to where we were. What is this? Student, they're not making nukes. Nuclear engineer. I'm a nuclear engineer, by the way. Here's the Iranian official admitting they wanted the bomb. Let's see what this. I don't trust these people. I thought I stopped stuff from Adrian Curry on my main page. Forget Cory Booker. Shut the fuck up, you fucking Jew. Elon, is this what you created X for? Have you no shame to foster hatred for an entire people? You know, here's where I am on this. It's freedom of speech, folks. America is freedom of speech. I think that people can post whatever they want, but they also can get the backlash from people like you, Michael Savage. And I like Michael Savage. He's a good dude, right? But I think people can say whatever the fuck they want. That's just something that you know, the freedom of speech. Do we like everything they say? No. But there's repercussions for what they say. Like, you can walk up to a black dude and call him the N-word, but if he knocks you the F out for it, then that's your repercussions, right? Angel Reese traded after team's last place season. Oh, good. I don't like Angel Reese. I really don't. She's a loudmouth, you know. And speaking of NASA, what do you guys think? I think we should just give it all up to Elon Musk and SpaceX. NASA's nowhere near what SpaceX can do. Just saying. Just saying. Sneak peek, a look at the features of Trump's White House ballroom. To the next decade of space travel, yeah. John F. Kennedy. Artemis is passing close to the moon. I hope they're searching for those bases that I think Chinese bases are up there. Be careful out there, guys. Not all is as it seems. Okay, what is this? Seconds before disaster. Okay. Oh, so she's gonna rob him or something, isn't she? What is she doing to him? She's doing something to him. So this was all a ploy to rob this guy. Wow. All for a backpack and his wallet. Some people today. So Artemis did come back online after a 40-minute blackout on the dark side of the moon. Let's see what they're saying here.
Houston, integrity. The same, and it is so great to hear from Earth again. To Asia, Africa, and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too. When we burned this burn towards the moon, I said that we do not leave Earth, but we choose it. And that is true. We will explore, we will build ships, we will visit again. We will construct science outposts, we will drive rovers, we will do radio astronomy, we will found companies, we will bolster industry.
Blah, 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 blah. Artemis 2 astronaut experienced a total solar eclipse from behind the moon, watching the sun's corona, Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Earth's glow all at once, a view no human has seen since the Apollo. Interesting. Let's watch this. I wonder if this is actual footage from them. Oh, yeah, it is. Interesting. There's no audio, though. So they're doing 942 miles an hour, 252,187 miles away from Earth. That is, I don't know what this, 5,398 miles to the moon. I'm kind of curious. Why didn't they go to the moon? Why are they just flying around it? All right. Rapper Offset shot near a popular casino in Florida, according to TMZ. Let's see what happens here. I don't know who this rapper is, but... Okay, yeah, I'm not going to show that. Video from Odessa shows a kid being pulled from the rubble of a collapsed home in Russia after a strike. Holy shit, look at that. Wow. Okay, we don't want to show too much of that. Blasting close to the moon. This delivers a powerful message. All right, let's watch this.
One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder. His first message was simple, and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good.
Yes, he is.
One down to...
Amen. Glad we got him back. No man left behind. No man left behind. Okay. Breaking news, Representative Yasmin Ansari says she will introduce articles of impeachment against Pete Hegseth. You got to be shitting me. Vintage parking sensors. I remember these. The little... And they didn't sense nothing. They just made a noise so you knew that you were hitting the curb. They're called curb feelers, right? Rapper tonight, 21. I will be speaking tonight live with the great and brave astronauts on Artemis 2 live at 10 p.m. Enjoy. Okay, so that just happened. 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is, so it's 7:22 here, so it's over 10 o'clock Eastern time. Let's see. Artemis 2 just before losing contact. Solar eclipse. Immediately with the imminently. Let's see what this is.
Integrity, we have you loud and clear. Tell me.
Was this it?
Houston, we have you the same, and it is so great to hear.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if they show it. Trump threatened to jail whoever leaked the missing pilot story. Turns out it was Netanyahu's favorite journalist. No way, is this really who it is?
And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. I tell you, well, it was the Easter, we were in the Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. Amazing.
Okay, hold on. So this is the journalist. What did it say? We didn't talk about the first one we rescued, and then someone leaked something about the navigator. We're going to find who leaked it. Whoever it is, we'll manage to track them down through the network that published it. As you may recall, this was first published here. The Houthis today will be the most powerful attacks. The Iranian should rise up. So apparently this was who it was. Amit Segal who leaked it. Interesting. Iran's building a permanent toll system for Hormuz. However you want to say it. Come on, let's refresh this way. Maybe we'll see President Trump speaking to the. Well, I guess not. All right, so that means it is time to now go and let's go to Rumble and find somebody to raid. Because we're gonna come back in a little bit. And first, let's see who. I guess the Dome After Dark might be live, probably. Music and Chat, 80 Buck Films, Misfit Electronic Gaming, Southern Patriots, Cool Frog, Eternal. Oh, Rotella's still streaming. Okay, let's raid Mr. Rotella because he's always raiding us. All right, so we're gonna raid Rotella streams, guys. Control C, and here we go.
I didn't see you there.
By the way, we will be back in about a half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. We're going to stream the Joe Rogan Experience, new Bob Lazar about aliens. So that's what we're going to stream in about half an hour. So come on back for that. Am I on the right one? Yep.
You know, if we were hitting every single other campaign promise that Trump talked about, I would feel much more comfortable about tomorrow.
All right, guys. Catch you later.
But we haven't. Just like people are worried about the midterms, we would have nothing to worry about the midterms if we were hitting every single campaign promise. We would be fucking rocking like forever. But I want you guys to ask yourself something. Do you feel the same energy tonight as you did on election night? And the answer is obviously no. So something is off, something is weird, and I don't really know where we go from here. Eddie with the raid. Thank you, Eddie.
Are you ready? Get him out of here.
Trump.
Get him out of here.
Trump.
Get the hell out of here.
Eddie, we don't mean that, Eddie. Trump doesn't mean that. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We're actually just hitting our end of the stream right now. Thank you, Eddie Ballyho, my friend. Eddie Dome Icon. Make sure you follow Eddie, everybody. Last man sitting on January 6th.
Look at the kitty. All right, guys. For those of you still on YouTube.
What's up, Eddie? Welcome in, my friend.